Hey there. I honestly believe Joseph intentionally messed with our minds a little bit in a good way. I call these Joseph's Holy Fool Easter eggs, and these Easter eggs are things that I would put in the category of God has chosen the foolish things of this world to confound the wisdom of the wise. I really don't care if you looked into a hat. I just don't. The bottom line is that the Book of Mormon is a testimony all by itself, and if he needed to look into a hat to get it to come forth, I'm totally fine with that. But my grand point at the moment is just to sort of suggest to you to consider a lot of the things that he said may have been tests of intellect. In Joseph's revelations, he, especially D&C 93, talking about pure intelligence and spirit being intelligence and truth, there's quite a correlation to the Logos, which we get in John 1, where it talks about the Word. That is such a packed Greek word. We really have it diminished quite a bit. But Logos, it means reasoned out thought. And a lot of times people mistake Logos from the way that the human brain works, which is able to use logic, but that word is a lot grander than that. It was actually invented by a philosopher named Heraclitus. And Heraclitus, he saw reason as the all-pervading force that holds everything in reality together and includes all opposites, dichotomies within itself. And so John, he preserves the meaning of Logos when he talks about all things coming to be through him. And so this all-pervading intelligence, it's superior to the intelligence of every brain. And so we tap into the Logos when we are more spiritual. And so I encounter people all the time on the internet who have memorized every single logical fallacy, and they don't apply that to their own arguments. And the reason is because there's not the same thing as exercising intelligence as academic knowledge. And so the intelligence principle that Joseph preached, we can't separate his own revelations and sermons from that idea. So we have to allow ourselves to go beyond what he says to look at what he meant. And maybe he didn't know what he meant a lot of times. Maybe he was speaking just pure by the Spirit and getting a glimpse, and then it's up to us to sort of decode the puzzle. So I want to encourage you that when you come across things like the King Follett Discourse, these are challenges to really test if we're being stupid or a little bit smart. And a case in point is this, is that he says God was once a man just like us. God was not always God. Well, if you really think about that, if you acknowledge what he's saying, that's the message of Christianity. That's literally the message of Christianity. Literally, Rome, Protestantism, evangelicalism especially, that's their message. They say, God became a man to identify with your condition. and he became a man, emptied himself of all his glory. He emptied himself of his godhood, and he was still God, but he is a man. And so, when you really dive into that type of thing, I think that you'll start to see that he was really testing how well everybody's paying attention. Because if Jesus emptied himself of his God form and then came back into that God form after taking on the sins of the world, Jesus became God. So a man became God. So, these sort of things are in that category of cracking that Easter egg. And it cracks me up because people get their holy garments all in a twist over this type of thing. And really it's been a message that Christianity has been preaching already. And so, so just kind of put a lot of thought in that. Just sort of take some time to reevaluate what you're reading and try to dive deeper, because sometimes it's really it's one of those things where you might be assuming way too much and you might be expecting way too little.